What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, I forgot my favorite part of the mock series, the one that makes it Hail Mary Sports mock, continuing the mock draft. So that is exactly what we are going to do right now, right here. And to give you guys a quick little look back, of course, PFF's mock draft simulator does not have everybody, but this is a quick little rundown of the draft. Again, not everybody has ESPN Plus. It was Will Anderson 1, GSN 2, Carter 3, Ricks. You guys can read. I'll tell you right here, this was Jaron Hall. Of course, PFF doesn't have him in the database. So I'll tell you guys where the guys are not in the database. It's unfortunate. Right here, Henry Teotio, which I thought would normally be in it, but you know, that's what's up. Most of these guys actually were in it, though. I'm pretty happy about that. This was Jermaine Burton, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, besides that, only a couple of mess ups. You guys know last year it's a lot worse. So glad to see that we're able to continue this. We were able to customize the draft order, so that is the exact same. Also, God bless PFF for being able to do that. Let's kick right into this because there's some really good players that I want to be able to attack and take off the board. So starting off with the number 33 pick, let's rock with the Jets here. Starting off with Will Anderson at pick number 1. That is awesome. I love that for them. Again, if you're at this spot, I think the offense is pretty good, except for maybe we can go after Anton Harrison. He is my top rated tackle right now. That's another class that I'm pretty close to being able to put up a video on. So a good positional group overall. Tight end Eric Gilbert could be a nasty receiving weapon, just a super freak. I don't know if he comes out this year. I will be factoring him into this mock draft, though. Jacqueline Roy, another guy. You can see him pop off on tape. I didn't even know too much about Jacqueline. I was just watching. I was watching LSU's defense. I'm bugging. I'm bugging. Where's the Pitt D tackle? Like I'm really tripping up right now. Where's he at? I thought he was a Pitt D tackle. So I actually do know Cansey, but yes, Jacqueline Roy, when I was watching LSU's defense, looking at BJ Ojulari, he popped off, but I had to give Chansey a shout out right there. Another really good guy to keep your eye on, but that's another guy who I would want to look at. Again, we ended up losing out on our interior defensive lineman and he went to the Jaguars. Bugging on his name right now. It's in the middle of the day. It's a work day. You guys know the deal. So Jacqueline Roy, definitely one of these guys who are a top talent in this draft. Again, realistically, I don't really see many other guys who I'd be wanting to take in the zone. We got some lag going on. It is the way it is, guys. You know the drill. I think another position we could target is safety because there are some really damn good safeties on the board. Jordan Battle's on the board super well all around, or super solid prospect. Brandon Joseph, he can just be everywhere at all times. But I'm going to actually continue fortifying the front. And it's either between Jacqueline Roy and Anton Harrison. If you're at number 1 overall, most likely the line didn't hold up very well. And I would heavily consider Anton Harrison. He's a very good tackle. And at this point, I think you can never go wrong with offensive linemen. Again, there were trade talks about having Mekhi Becton moved around. And from my inside sources in the NFL, that is very true. They wanted to get rid of him, but they just couldn't find a suitor, especially for the right price. But the Bears are on the clock, and I was talking about this earlier. I think that when you end up losing Akeem Hicks and stuff, Akeem Hicks also getting up there in age. But regardless of all that, the interior is not going to last very much longer, and that is a very big aspect of the Bears defense. You have to continue fortifying it, making sure that it is up to par. Jacqueline Roy, certainly somebody who you want to fortify that front with. Now, the Texans, they did not go after a quarterback in the first round, and that was a very smart decision, apparently. I want to make sure I'm bugging. No, you got Isaiah Foskey as well as Jalen Carter. So right now is a great time to go after a quarterback. Tanner McKee could be the guy you go after, but it'd be kind of funny for the backup to Davis Mills to take over there. I unfortunately will not be taking the quarterback, though. That's just the way we're going to roll. Because, again, Tanner McKee is as good as Davis Mills. I just don't think he brings much more to the table. You could get someone like Jordan Battle up in here. Again, they did end up getting a safety last draft. It was kind of slot corner safety hybrid. So I'm not going to be targeting that per se. You could look at offensive linemen here for sure. It's just a weird spot. Jaheim Bell could be a really good receiving option for you. I mean, again, we could get, they went offensive line in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. I'm tripping. No, they didn't go after offensive line in the first round. Right. We're going right back in time right here, everybody. I think going Andrew Voorhees, who's a tackle guard hybrid, not a bad option at all. They still do probably want to fortify that right side. I know he's a left guard who's moving to left tackle, but I mean, he's as good as you can have on the board right now, right? I mean, we're looking at offensive lineman here. Broderick Jones is actually pretty good. I can't shit on Broderick Jones. He did grade out pretty well as well. He's more of a natural right, so we're going to go with Broderick Jones here. Again, consider this as your another building piece for the offensive front. Number 36, you guys also know me. I value offensive line a lot, and it doesn't look like it. I used to be an offensive lineman for 7 years. It's just that is the way it is. Jaguars, number 36. Eric Gilbert is someone who is catching my eye big time right now. Big time. Because again, I don't really believe in the tight end core of this team. And, getting somebody who is as freaky as Eric Gilbert also could provide a number one wide receiver on the outside. I feel very similar to Kyle Pitts vibes. We're definitely going to be targeting Eric Gilbert here at pick 36. Number 37, you got the Falcons who got CJ Stroud in round 1. I'm looking at Devon Achane here. I love Devon Achane. I do. I actually have him as a second rounder, but I think there are better running backs on the board. So guys like Deuce Vaughn, Jahmyr Gibbs, these guys are those difference makers. And I do think Jahmyr Gibbs now at Alabama is going to be getting that type of hype. You see what Alvin Kamara is able to do for the Saints, at least keep them afloat in that division. You get your quarterback, you get your RB1. I think that's going to set you up big time. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a star. He is, I believe, my number 3 running back in the draft class. Luckily, or funnily enough, my number 2 running back in the class, Deuce Vaughn, is still on the board. I just don't really see him going that high. I can see him more in the later range, but we'll continue pressing on. I love Devon Achane. Big fan. Steelers on the clock. We went Kelee Ringo round 1. With Kelee Ringo taken, we're still in the top 6. We could try to target another quarterback. We could. You look at it. You could go Tanner McKee here. I just don't see him bringing more than, we've already kind of got on the table. Tanner McKee graded out even worse than Kenny Pickett did. So I love Tanner McKee. That's the thing. I still have him worth around a late first, but still, regardless, I think that this is a good time to start looking at other positions. Safety is a position I really want to tackle here, and Jordan Battle is an amazing safety. We have Terrell Edmonds on a 1-year contract. I do think that Jordan Battle is going to be a really nice asset for us. Still, he deserves to be a first-round pick, and I'm just glad that he's here. Awesome player. Big fan of him. Okay, now for the Panthers. So we got Bryce Young, pick 7. Things are going well. I still think you could go an edge rusher here. I do. So obviously, you got Ike Ekwonu in this last draft. You did the right thing. Awesome. Proud of you guys for doing that. We're willing to put your jobs on the line to do what's best for the team. That was really awesome. You now have your quarterback of the future. You have your tackle of the future. You guys are chilling. So I would like to potentially look right here at Nolan Smith. I do like Nolan Smith, but I also like a guy named Derek Hall, who's an amazing edge rusher. Again, I think the power of this team lies in the defense right now. Wide receivers, they're fine. They got a really solid group there. Running back, obviously, you got that filled out. Hopefully, you guys can remain to keep Christian McCaffrey on the roster and healthy. So prayers up for that. Offensive line is improving, right? You could go after a guard here. I definitely wouldn't be against it. You could look at Andrew Voorhees here, who was a second-round guard, who's also moving to tackle. So you have that versatility as well in case an injury, in case, Icky needs to play guard for a short term. Voorhees, definitely somebody who I would want in that group. So definitely considering that. Again, you're also investing in Bryce Young, who's a bit thinner. So Nolan Smith, as well as Voorhees, those are the guys I'm trying to look at right now. You could look at safety. If I'm not mistaken, they definitely could still use one, and you have some really good ones on the board. But safety isn't actually valued that high. I think offensive lineman is. And Andrew Voorhees is totally worth it. Really damn good guard. And he's going to be moving to tackle. So again, you add that versatility in there. You add that overall as a benefit. For the Lions, they got Will Levis. I wouldn't even take Will Levis right here. As well as Jermaine Burton. Kind of having a mid draft. So we're not going to do that anymore. I love Devon Achane. I want him to be featured in here. Not going to happen probably, but that's okay. I think when you look at it, the offensive line doing solid. You could still go interior, but I don't think anybody's worth it. Nobody's going to be really an upgrade at your guard spot. Offensive tackle, you guys have probably the best duo in the long run in the league. Quarterback, apparently set. Wide receiver, you got Jermaine Burton. You're not going to go back-to-back wide receivers. So offense, I think you're set. Cornerback, we definitely still have some guys who are some ballers. Joey Porter Jr., one of them. I think that would be a really nice addition here. You are taking a swing at a Big Ten corner again, and there's a chance that Joey Porter will fail. I definitely think it's still worth it though. Really solid corner, but you guys also have shown that you are either willing to take one at the top or you're really good at sniping ones down the board. So there also is that, like, obviously Ifeatu Melifonwu is a good example. I don't think you need it, but it's certainly not a bad thing. I do know safety is still something you could address. And Brandon Joseph is a weird hybrid. I know free safety, you got Tracy Walker there. You guys are kind of chilling. Brandon Joseph is a guy who could be both. And I do think that his potential is worth keeping up there in the North. Brandon Joseph just going straight across the lake. I think he's worth it. Number 41, you got the Seahawks back on the board. We ended up getting Jaren Hall. Oh my God. Jaren Hall, as well as Trent Simpson, who I love. Honestly, if you swap the two, I'd be a little more accepting of it. I love Trent Simpson, especially with how crap this class is. I think wide receiver wouldn't be a bad position to continue targeting. You still want to just throw it until you hit. Running back, obviously there's some studs in this class, and that's just going to push them down the board. I think edge wouldn't be a bad choice here. I really don't. I know that you guys drafted edge in this last draft. Did you guys get, I think you guys, oh my gosh, the Minnesota guy. I'm bugging on his name, but ZTF deserves to go in this zone as well. This team doesn't need much. Again, it's that linebackers, maybe some corners, and I think this actually would be a good spot. I mean, you guys drafted two really good corners as well in the last draft, so you don't exactly need this because, again, you guys already drafted some high-end corners, but this is kind of like the rich getting richer. I think Joey Porter, again, we are in a very pass-heavy league. I think Joey Porter also is really good in the run game. He's the one guy who made me really put Tank Bigsby down out of my top 10. Like, he was straight up able to take a full shoulder from Tank and still bring him down. Love that about him. He's a mean, aggressive corner as well. I think adding more defensive backs, one, it seems very Seahawky, but number two, he's just so good. He has his potentials through the roof. Love him. Number 42, you got the Giants, who went after Tyler Van Dyke. I love Tyler Van Dyke. Really solid player. My number 3 quarterback in the class. At this point, you could still go after interior offensive line. You could. And let's just check the guys who are here. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of Alusagun, but I don't know if exactly you want to target center at this point. I honestly kind of want to. And if I'm not mistaken, Osiris Torrance is now at Florida. You guys can correct me on that one. But I'm going to go Alusagun here. Pretty sure that he was a UVA transfer to Michigan. And I think continuing to invest in the offensive line is crucial. So again, I'm trying to think of it. Wide receiver could be a position you target here. There's been very few that have come off the board, including my number 2 wide receiver still on the board. But Alusagun, again, this is not a good offensive line class. Alusagun is actually worth this type of pick. Number 43, we got Andre Carter, as well as, who else did we get? I'm bugging. Who else did we get up here? So you got Andre Carter and Bijan. So gotta love that one. Yeah, you guys have already addressed 2 pretty crucial positions with one really great player, another one who I'm on the fence about. So I think tight end wouldn't be a bad option. Again, you gave a franchise tag to the tight end currently, and look at all these great tight ends. Jaheim Bell works perfectly. He's a slot tight end. Sam Laporta, really do like him. Jaleel Billingsley, he's at UT now. So there's actually a lot of players who would really fit well into the squad. Again, I know people hate when I take tight end for the Dolphins, but I do think it's a position you could address. You could go offensive line, but I don't think that's going to upgrade you at all. We could go quarterback here, but I don't see what Tanner McKee brings to the table that Tua does not. Just simply put, I don't see it. You look at the quarterbacks, you can go Spencer Rattler, but he's a shit man in the locker room. No one likes him. So, and yes, I actually have real sources for this, not trying to like bullshit anybody. Like, people get so butthurt over it. Like, honestly, you don't have any sources, and if people treat my friends like shit, I'm not going to like them. And he did. So kind of his loss at that point. it just sucks because there's these really good running backs in this draft right now, and I just really want to go off and take one. We could take another wide receiver. We could get a big for the outside, and that wouldn't be a bad idea. So let's look at the wide receivers here. Someone who I really want to put into this is Xavier Hutchinson, but out of realism, I think Quentin Johnson is going to get a little bit more hype than Xavier, and Quentin Johnson's still in like my wide receiver 6 territory. So I'm going to go Quentin Johnson here to kind of be that big man, that big threat that takes guys away from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Again, the rich get richer. He's also pretty damn good after the catch for 6'4". Number 44, Washington. This is where I could see someone like Tanner McKee going. I really can. And, at this point, you look at it, they got another tackle, which again, don't understand why, but like Tanner McKee at least has potential, right? Carson Wentz is just burned out completely. Spencer Rattler's an ass, and that's just where we're going to be at. So take a shot on a QB. It's round 2. See what happens. Nolan Smith's still on the board, and I still have him in my top 20, top 15, or top 20, top 25. So yeah, I'm not hating on Nolan Smith here. Really like him, but he's more scheme specific. I can see a team like the Titans going out and grabbing him. So he's probably the next pick. But the Niners are sitting here, and honestly, I don't really know where to go with the Niners. I could go corner here for sure. I think the Niners still definitely could use a corner. They just naturally are always in need of corners. But looking at the guys available, Clark Phillips is the guy who's standing out to me. He's a little bit smaller. I believe he's around 5'10", but he can also work in the slot if you need him to. But this guy, if I'm not mistaken, he locked down Drake London. So pretty big player right there. Again, he actually got let up a couple plays to him, but Drake London was top 10 pick. And this is pick 45. So we're going to go Clark Phillips here out of Utah. Big fan of what he can bring. Nolan Smith's going to be this next pick. No ifs, ands, or buts. And the Bengals still shouldn't be here in the middle of the pack. But again, I'm following the draft order that was on the mock draft that we just did the mock on. Again, feel free to check that video out. I already got on Matt Miller's ass for having the Bengals at pick 15. But gets you guys better players, right? So at this spot, they've addressed safety, they've addressed corner, and I know y'all get pissed off when I mention the linebackers. Y'all are just fanboys. I'm just going to be straight up. Logan Wilson's pretty damn good. But besides that, I don't really see much potential there. The problem is there's none in this class either. There isn't. There really isn't. And that's what sucks. Straight up, it sucks. But the rest of your defense is solid. Offense, you could try to invest in the offensive line, but this isn't the class to do it in. You luckily have guys on multiple year contracts. So that's a plus, right? Now, you could look at another running back here, and I think that's where you can find the most value. I really do. And you guys might say, oh my God, Joe Mixon's amazing. He is. Just make him last. It's okay not to run these guys into the ground. And you can go after someone like Sean Tucker here. But I love the idea of Devon Achane here being more so that scat back, somebody who really can open up the offense. The guy's going to be in the 4.2 speed range. And I believe he tested out a 4.24. Someone clocked him at 4.24. He is a track athlete at arguably the number 1 track school in the country. Just watch out because he has unreal speed. You could, of course, go Zach Evans here. Really good player. Sean Tucker, another guy. Amazing. Blake Corum. This class is too freaking good. That's the bottom line. It's too good. I would probably take Deuce Vaughn above Devon Achane. But again, you don't actually have to put Devon Achane into action. That's why I think that it's really good to put Devon Achane on the squad. The rich get richer. You have Michael Mayer. You have Devon Achane. You also have Joe Mixon in there in the mix as well. You really do bring just some crazy oomph. And then you also take the pressure off Joe Burrow. Because again, now you can't stack the box. You have to watch out always for Devon Achane slipping out of the backfield and totally toasting you for a touchdown. He's going to open up a lot of options. And again, he's a developing running back, and you'll have Joe Mixon, who's an amazing guy to have him learn from. So I really do think the potential is there. 48 for the Saints. Let's see. They didn't draft in the first round, right? Because they gave that to the Eagles. So you guys are still stuck in this kind of purgatory zone. Unfortunately, there's not really a quarterback I would want on the squad. So I think what's best is continue developing the squad. I would love to go after Xavier Hutchinson. He's not on the board, but we will end up just pretend drafting him. I really do think he's going to be amazing. He's 6'3" as a boundary threat, really good after the catch as well. Not exactly someone who can break tackles, but I do think he is a top wide receiver in the class. Again, this is not Xavier Thomas. This is Xavier Hutchinson. He would work really well in the slot as well, or on the boundary. I think that versatility just continues to open up the offense. No other position group is really worth it at this point except D tackle, and I'm just not ready to draft y'all a D tackle. So that's where we're at. The Raiders are on the board. They're not going to have a running back. So not a bad spot to be when you have some amazing 3-down running backs. That one is Sean Tucker. He can take a lot of carries as well. I do think that because again, he didn't rank as high as the other guys to me, but he's a true 3-down back. I'm not going to put Deuce Vaughn in there. Tank Bigsby's out of my even top 10. There's just better players. There is. So Sean Tucker really going to be that hard-nosed guy who's just going to be able to take 15 to 25 touches a game. Pick 50. Finally got Kayshon Boutte. Woo. Now it's time to continue developing. And running back, you guys have enough of those. You also draft them later on. Wide receiver, still think you could go back-to-back, but that's not very realistic. We try to keep it somewhat realistic up in this piece. So quarterback, you're not going to address that either. Offensive line, not good enough. Let's look at the defense. I think you could get another edge rusher. You ended up losing Chase Winovich. I think you could go after Derek Hall. Again, they don't have the actual Derek Hall in here that they should. There's no way in hell they would have this Derek Hall as their number 81 player and not the other Derek Hall. So it's pretty safe to assume this is Derek Hall out of Auburn. He's a freak. He's probably going to be my top 15. Just again, you have to find the right spot for him. Eagles. So this is an interesting spot. Again, another spot for a potential quarterback selection. I could see Keaton Slovis being a potential option here, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I still think safety is a position to address. Now, free safety might not exactly be, but if you're just not doing well, you have to get the best player available. And you could go running back here. You could. Like Zach Evans would be a beast. And you guys are kind of looking for that upgrade. I do like Zach Evans a lot. Not the top end athlete that you might want for someone who could be like a total game changer, but he is still a really good athlete. Don't get me wrong in that, guys. This guy is a top end back, and he's going to be the guy you draft. He is, because you have to help out that offense somehow. And you do just kind of need to get the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, especially if at this point you guys are still not legitimately competing. You guys just made it to the playoffs, but got kicked out. Pick 52, we have the Baltimore Ravens on the board. I don't know why they'd be in this situation. Again, you address the linebacker. Safeties are great, honestly. You have the best safety core in the NFL, arguably. We could end up trying to go after like some depth corners. Like the defense is pretty solid, man. You even got the kid Travis Jones in the 3rd round. Like there's nothing I could really get on your ass for on your defense. Maybe get another edge rusher. I don't even think you need that. That's the thing. You don't even need that. Because we could go after edge here. There's still BJ Ojolari, ZTF. And you know what? Screw it. I think you'll go after a physical freak, BJ Ojolari. Obviously, his brother's doing pretty damn well in the league. So we'll do it. Again, rich get richer, right? Offensive line, find enough. Quarterback, you're set. Running back, you guys will draft somebody in the 3rd round and they'll end up being a stud. And you also have J.K. Dobbins coming back. Wide receiver, you guys should be fine. I mean, you guys are pretty stacked. I mean, the Ravens always have the best roster in the NFL, just on paper. Sometimes it doesn't come together during the season, whether it's injuries, whether it's just cohesion. I don't know, but you guys at least know every single year you're going into it with a really damn good roster. And that's coming from a Steelers fan. I'm giving y'all some credit. Number 53. Let's see. Is there anybody? Gervon Dexter's a beast. I do like Gervon Dexter. I would be considering a safety here with Jalen Cattle on. I do think that is a potential option for him. They did end up going get a safety at the end of round 1. So that does kind of damper it. But I will just say Jalen Catalon is a little bit more of a true free. You are potentially ending up going to be losing Harrison Smith coming soon. It's unfortunate, but it's true. You could go quarterback and just say, hey, let's see if Spencer Rattler has it. I just don't see it. I don't. This team's actually really good. That's the problem. There's not really many guys who I'd be selecting at this point. And the real reason I'm scrolling through all this, I'm making sure that there's nobody who's just absolutely again, Osiris Torrance is the guy who I'd consider. there's just nobody in here that is just grabbing my attention to the point where it's like, I need to go and grab them. So this is a spot I would trade out of personally, but we're going to go with safety again because I do think it's BPA. Let's go Jalen Kettle on here. If he can stay healthy, this guy was a top 20 player last year to me, and he's going to run in like the 4.3s, if not 4.2s. So definitely someone you want to have on your roster. We went offensive line with this first pick for the Cardinals. I do think that going after an edge rusher could be a good position to target. And you have Zion Tuapoloa-Fatui. Again, well, like it's a Pac-12 edge rusher. I do think that he's going to be able to thrive over there in Arizona. ZTF has all the talent in the world if he can stay healthy. I think it was on his 20th snap. He was getting triple teamed. He sent out a tweet about that. Really funny, but honestly, just an unbelievable player. For the Browns, yes, the Browns have their second round pick. Love that. I would be considering another interior defensive lineman here with Gervon Dexter having some insane potential. Again, ZTF would have been my selection. He would have been, but not there anymore. You could go after Britton Cox, maybe. I don't think Britton Cox is worth the second round pick. Zach Harrison would be a really nice understudy to Myles Garrett. But again, I'm just trying to think about it. They don't exactly need much. Maybe a wide receiver. So let's check out the wide receiver list. Again, there's nobody really here, but if we're thinking back, I mean, realistically, most of the wide receivers who I would draft here are gone. So let's go with the best guys available. And I think you could end up going after, God, there's really nothing here. I'm going to go Gervon Dexter. I'm going to do it. Again, super high upside, number 3 player coming out of high school. Guy's a true 5-star. And he's actually starting to come into his own. So good for him. Chiefs got an edge rusher. Again, I would love to go after a wide receiver at this point, but we're going to go after a running back. And Deuce Vaughn's going to open up this offense. I love Deuce Vaughn with the passion, so it was pretty easy for me to make that selection. You got the Seahawks on the board. What did they get with their first pick for us? Because they'll determine. They got Joey Porter. So I could honestly continue developing the offensive line. They already got Charles Cross in this past year. I don't think that solves all of their problems. I don't. And that's why we're going to go with Cyrus Torrance here. Now I believe he's on Florida as an offensive guard, but former Louisiana, you know me, I actually love the Raging Cajuns and especially their offensive line, mainly their offensive line. So big fan of that. Number 58, we got the Buccaneers on here. And now I'm starting to look at quarterback here. Spencer Rattler could be an understudy. Devin Leary. I don't think Devin Leary brings much more than what they already have in that quarterback room, which is unfortunate. Again, they're in a perennial running back cycle. And I think Blake Corum is just a beast. If he can stay healthy, my God, he's my number 5 running back in the class. Just a guy. He's mean. He's a train. He rolls through people. And something that not a lot of running backs have anymore is something called momentum. I call it at least momentum. When you just go into somebody, you carry your energy through them. So Blake Corum has that. He can just totally accelerate. Maybe not exactly the top end speed he does get caught up to, but my God, that acceleration is insane. And he keeps power with that acceleration. I love that. That speed to power conversion that we talk about usually with edge rushers. Blake Corum has it in his running style. Big fan of that. And the team that got the steal of the draft, of course, Anthony Richardson at pick number 27. You have the Colts here, and you don't need a running back. So probably the best place to start looking is offensive line, which honestly, you ended up getting, oh man, I'm bugging on him. No. Oh man. It was like, so PFF was a huge fan of him. I'm tripping balls right now, but 3rd round pickup was pretty much a 1st round style of talent. I had him as a 3rd rounder. So happy to see that he's there. I have Tyler Beadodge's name stuck in my head, and I obviously know it's not that. So RIP. But you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys got a great steal in the draft at left tackle. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy, and those concerns are complete BS. Cooper Beebe is crap, by the way. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up on that. He's not going to be in this category come like the actual year, but you could try to get a tight end. And you guys got Woods, didn't you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you guys had a killer draft. So I don't really have much to complain about here. Corner. I mean, we could go corner. There's not really much to get at corner though at the moment. So damn, I think Malachi Moore would be pretty good. He is a slot. I know you have Kenny Moore there, but he can play boundary as well. Malachi Moore also can play safety if need be. That is definitely that more rotational player. I also know you ended up getting one of my favorite safeties in the draft. So really, this is just BPA, and Malachi Moore, it's at a position that always needs more rotation. So getting another defensive back is never a bad thing. Rams, God only knows what the Rams need. They need offensive line help. Zion Nelson's going to be my guy. Obviously, you're having Noteboom move to left tackle full time, and I think he could be a big contributor. Zion Nelson could then move into right and play at a high level as well on a cheaper contract. For the Chargers, I think running back could be something they do try to go after here. This could, I mean, I have a lot of guys where the second round pick. Zach is right outside of it, and he'd be a really good RBBC back. Got that interior defensive lineman. I'm thinking about the offensive line. To me, is pretty much fine. I really don't think that needs to be improved that much. You got Zion Johnson in the first round last year. So realistically, you still could get a right tackle. Zion Johnson, if you were on the board, I would go after that route. But I mean, wide receiver, fine enough, running back, again, something you could address. Linebacker, but linebackers are crap in this class. Corners, I mean, you got JC Jackson, right? So Zach Charbonnet is going to be the pick, staying in LA and, enjoying the good weather. So cheers to Zach. Again, former high school running back duo right here. Obviously not. He would be much higher on the depth chart than I would have been. So RIP that, but love Zach. Hopefully he gets to enjoy being on he actually wanted to be on the Cowboys for a long time, but on the Chargers. Now the Cowboys are sitting here, and to me, I mean, again, they already invested in the defense. I still think offensive line could be a position they target. There's just nobody good enough. There isn't. That's what sucks. I'm like looking at this and it's like, damn, there's just nobody who I'd want here. That really sucks. So, unfortunately, we might have to resort to the wide receiver route again. Screw PFF for not having Jack in this category. No, we're not going to go quarterback. Don't worry. Man, I mean, tight end probably is the way that I'd want to go. And Sam Laporta is a 3-down tight end. I know, obviously, you put a franchise tag on your tight end currently. Jaleel Billingsley could be that slot tight end that you're looking for. I like Sam Laporta's all-around well-balanced nature. So good for Sam Laporta, good for the Cowboys continuing to develop that receiving core. Packers, I honestly think they could also go after a tight end as well. And getting another threat with Jaheim Bell is a good way to start. Then last but not least, the Buffalo Bills, ending off the mock draft. If I'm not mistaken, it just got dark as hell outside. So that is entertaining. I hope we got Dallas has been low-key boring because it's just been 100 degrees and just nothing happening. I would like to see some storms happen again, man. With my luck, it would end up sucking me up, and that would just be annoying as hell. Well, I don't know if I'd live past that, but let's end off the draft right. This team, again, so stacked. You don't need an edge rusher because, again, you got Von Miller on a super long contract, pretty much a 3-year. Safety, you could continue to develop that. I'm looking at the guys right here, though. Rashad Torrance is not bad. Tyke Smith can't stay healthy, so not really a fan of the safeties right now. Corner, you got Kyer Elam, so you don't need a corner 3. You could try to invest in the offensive line. Again, we just went through this, though. It's not good. It's not. So that really sucks. That kind of limits what you can do. And you could try to go another running back. You just invested one in the second round last year, James Cook. You could try to go after someone like Tank Bigsby. Not a huge fan of Tank Bigsby. But, if he pans out, could be worth it. I mean, I'm stuck here, guys. This is it's the hardest pick of the draft, honestly, for me. And I don't really know exactly where to go at this point. Maybe we can go tight end, because honestly, it's the best guy left on the board. So legitimately, I'm starting to think that I think we should probably go and just get another receiving weapon and just say, screw it. The rich get richer. Jaleel Billingsley is super young, super talented. So that is going to be the continuation of the draft. Let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Who was left out? Where should he have been and why? And I will see you guys on the far side. Peace.